What's the matter? You are a redhead after all. Listen, what do you do with a message of crystal meth?
Crystal meth?
Yeah, crystal meth. There's people, kids doing crystal meth in their Fredericton High School.
Yep.
As Minister of Education, what do you do? Is it just a one-day education program? Well, kids, don't do drugs, blah, blah, blah. You know what crystal meth is?
Yes, yeah, well aware.
Isn't it nice to talk about something different?
It's not COVID or a spray.
Yeah.
Crystal meth, I mean, so,
Seriously, let's go.
No, absolutely. So, crystal meth epidemic is clearly, like we started to see the last 2 years, that it's just building and building in New Brunswick, right?
And it's a world problem. It's the states all across Canada.
Right, it's a North America-wide. It comes from the opioid policies the Americans had, a consequence of not having a national healthcare system, because doctors would prescribe painkillers rather than medical treatment, get addicted to opioids, moves into crystal meth, and it's just getting worse. So, part of the reason for it is that, as you know, having had to deal with people with crystal meth, I've seen some of your videos. Yeah, you've got people who are really unable to control themselves.
They're done for
it. It zombifies you, right?
Yeah.
So people aren't taking this because they think this is like weed or having a glass of wine. They're taking this to escape from their lives.
Yeah.
So the only way you're going to solve this, because drug prohibition programs have never worked anywhere, ever. All we do is spend millions of dollars on them. You can focus on the education, expand it absolutely, because we've had a shift.
How are we, like in England, you've been around, you talk, as a matter of fact, you were the one that said that with coronavirus shut down the school. You were ahead of the time. You don't see people high on crystal meth in England or France on the street. You don't see that. You don't see that because they spend the resources. They spend people had to spend about $50 million on the whole building. Instead of putting a Band-Aid here and there. You know what I mean?
You've got to treat it as a serious healthcare problem, not as what we tend to do as a law enforcement problem.
Yeah.
And until you do that, you look at one of my favorite examples for drug policy, look what they're doing in Portugal, where 20 years ago now they decriminalized and they treat addiction as a mental health problem. The cost of policing goes down, rates of crime goes down, and rates of addiction go down.
Like here, they put the City Motel right beside the Fredericton High School. You could go at Tim Horton, McDonald's. Students, here's McDonald's, Tim Horton. You must socialize.
Yeah, they're all right.
You must be part of the community. And then, hey, you want to do some meth? Hey, this is cool. Try it. And then they're done.
But again, most of the time, the kids who are going to pick up on taking meth are going to be ones who are just have decided they've, for whatever reason, they've given up on large parts of life.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the sort of thing like
be like the old days, just be drunks, trying to forget. At least there's a chance. Do you put youth signs at Fredericton High School? Do you put youth sign in the school? Don't do crystal meth. Do you do that?
Well, no, but I also don't think that would work. Again, I don't know anyone who knows anything about meth would think that people took meth based on it being something that was a good choice for their life, right? They're not likely to change it based on, I don't have a pension, not likely to...
You must have ADHD, listen to me.
So you don't have, so if you're putting up a poster is unlikely to change anything. What's going to be required, from my perspective, which I know Minister Shepherd has talked about a lot, is more serious, sustained help for people who are suffering from addiction. That's all that helps. Because if you're just talking about it...
The minute they do crystal meth in Fredericton High School, the minute they do meth, it comes to the responsibility of the province. They're done for life. They're zombies for life.
You end up you're way more likely to end up in prison and everything else.
And that's why we must stop. This is not like cocaine. I tried cocaine once. I love it so much before I found out I had ADHD. I was so calm. It was like a body stone. But then I didn't know I had it. I'm Scottish, too cheap to pay for the cocaine anyway. But I tried it, but crystal meth, that's a total different ballgame.
No, it's just destroys your life. It's terrible. Yeah, I mean, you see the reason why some of the drug companies in the States were pushed into bankruptcies because they were being sued because they had cost tens of thousands of people to become addicted. And then you had people who went from having successful lives and happy families and good careers, but then they end up being homeless.
The QP workers around us must be want to be educated on crystal meth. They're very quiet. I never hear no horns. I haven't heard nothing. That's good.
No, it's exciting, but it's important. And then, like you said, in the middle of all the other stuff stuff going on. That's something we can't forget.
When you look into it, try to educate the kids and not doing crystal meth.
Well, let me go and find out what we're doing specifically on meth, because a lot of our drug stuff, education was just massively out of date because it was still focusing on marijuana and things, which since then we've legalized
Next
it.
time I see you, you'll have an update from me. Like we put people on crystal meth at the Trenton High School, and they cause what, $10,000-$20,000 in damages. You can't help them.
No, and I'm glad that we had a place for folks, but at the same time that showed the cost, right? No.
Okay, I think somebody else wants to talk to you.
Nice again for me.
Dominic, un peu de colonne. Ça va très bien. Ça va très bien. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Change de partie, faites quoi?
Change de partie.
Ouais, Daniel allait, écoute, vous visez pas la chefferie, quoi. Vous savez qu'il s'en va.
Let's get a picture of the guy that doesn't give a hoot about kids.
Chef du conservateur. Kid, fais quelque chose. Parce que là, on est avec deux groupes, mais on est plus que deux groupes, on est 10 groupes.
On dit quoi parce que c'est pas dans
non, c'est pas dans les négociations, c'est les salaires qu'on veut régler, les pensions, on le réglera plus tard.
Et le salaire,
S'ils ne changent pas d'idée, là, ils voulaient baisser à 2%. D'accord. Le coût de la vie, le gaz a encore monté. C'est pour ça. Ça n'arrête pas de monter. Puis parce qu'il monte la nourriture, le salaire monte pas. Après, on est obligé de. Écoute, t'as plus de colonnes que ça. Prends-moi là. Faites quoi?
Ain't they more polite than the people in St. John, the People's Party went to your place?
we've known each other for years.
I want their kids. Oh, no. I want my picture. I want my picture. You will have a picture.
No, I don't. Actually, I want it.
Yeah.
The MLA pension is shared with.
Yeah, my picture.